Good morning. Do me a favor when the audience starts climbing here. Just let me know that you can hear me. I got the headphones on again today. Want to make sure that you can hear me. So I'll wait. Let me see these messages. I don't see any messages. Where the stuff that says good morning, DML. Good morning. Yes, there you go. Hi, Regina. Do me a favor. Can you hear me? Somebody write, yes, we can hear you. I will wait until I can hear you. Thank you, Jane. All right, so I put out a alert that it would be 11:40 when I start doing this, so I suspect it will take us a couple of minutes to get the crowd up. I will fill in some time. Was supposed to be at the studio today, doing this from the studio, but changed my mind for a number of different reasons. Some of that stuff we'll get into. But we're going to talk today. Going to give you a wealth, like a bucket of information. It is going to be a huge bucket of information, stuff that you could really learn about today, specifically regarding the refugee programs we have and what's going on right now with the budget, the bill, all this other different jazz. I think what you will come away and learn today will be priceless. You're also going to be a little disappointed. Cop car. Wonder if he thinks I'm a Russian spy. I look a little Russian today. Haven't shaved. Yep. Anyhow, some of the stuff that I am going to tell you today is going to disappoint you. So if you're looking for one of those bright sunny days where you get told everything you want to hear, this ain't going to be one of those days. No, today's going to be one of those days where I'm going to sort of fill you in on the downside of this all. For those of you, what do I mean by downside of this all? Well, if you were with me on Saturday evening where I sort of just decided, let's do a Facebook Live. It's 100 days in office. I was very positive, very upbeat, all this other different stuff, which is great. That was great. And, of course, I'm going to support my president best I possibly can. But at the same time we can't fall into la-la land. And la-la land blinds you. And there are certain things that, I've learned today, now that this whole budget thing has come to surface, and you start to see what's funded and what's not funded, and there's a lot of disappointment on this end here. A lot of disappointment. Not happy about a lot of things. So I'm going to tell you about some of them. Tell you about what it is that maybe you could do about some of it. We're going to talk about that. Like I said, we're going to talk about the refugee program. I got an education and a half this morning from a very smart woman who knows a lot about this stuff. Then I'm going to kind of give you an outline for those of you who are interested. I don't know if you call this story time or not, but I will tell you what it is, our next phase here with our studio and our build out. Been doing a lot of thinking over the weekend. A lot of thinking. And so I'm going to give you the lowdown on that. All right, so we're going to start. Looks like, what do we got? 2,200, give or take. I don't know, some people will probably jump off, some people will jump on, but it's time to begin. Okay, so anyway, just before I turned on the Facebook Live, I went in to check to see what the poll numbers were on a poll we ran this morning. And the poll we ran this morning asked whether or not you were disappointed in the fact that you didn't get funding for your wall, and that the funding to crack down on sanctuary cities was not in there. It's funny because I read one of the messages on the comments on our website at DennisMichaelLynch.com, and I said, wait a second, shouldn't we be happy that there's no funding for the sanctuary cities? It's not funding for the sanctuary cities, it's no funding for the crackdown on sanctuary cities. So anyhow, in short, the easy way to deliver this to you in layman's terms is you ain't getting what you wanted. All right? No funding for the wall and no funding to crack down on sanctuary cities. Now, although I'm not disappointed about the wall, like maybe you are, because as you know, I have never been a big champion for the wall. Sure, I'll take it. I'll take that. I'll take anything that helps stop the problem. But I do not, to me, as I've explained it, if I got a bag of golf clubs and I can only pick out my essential golf clubs to have a good game, my 6-iron is coming out of my bag. I'd like to have my 6-iron, but I don't need it in order to be able to have a good game of golf. Well, to me, the border wall is a 6-iron. And it's a good to have, but it's not a must-have in order to stop the problem that we have in terms of what's going on with people coming into this country illegally. And I don't mean overstaying a visa. I mean coming over our borders. You already know, it's like beating a dead drum, but for those rare people who are here for the first time, I am of the belief that if you kill the incentive for people to come here illegally, they won't come. And I always use the example of 2013. There were 5,000, give or take, 5,000 bank robberies. And most of them, I think 97% were successful, despite all the technology, all the men with guns, all the different security measures taken in place. And that is because there was a will to get the money out of the vault. And if there's a will, there's a way. But if you were to say how many bank robberies were there of banks that were closed, that didn't have any money in the vault, but still were empty, vacant buildings, it comes down to 0. And that's because there was no incentive to get the money. The money was not there. So if you strip away the money, if you strip away the ability for people to get jobs in this country, if you strip away the free this and free that, people won't come. And then your Border Patrol agents, who are so busy processing families coming across the border, well, then they could actually exclusively focus their energy on stopping the potential terrorists and the drugs from coming in through the border. That's what I would do if I were President Lynch or if I were advising President Trump. But I'm doing neither of those. So I'm sitting here with you saying, okay, well, the signature thing that we were all supposed to get, that we were promised time and time again, is a border wall. And Mexico was going to pay for it all. And it's going to be super tall. Well, I have said to you time and again, knowing that I'd be disappointing you in the process, and I've lost thousands, probably tens of thousands of followers over the course of time on social media because I told them that what they didn't want to hear, and unfortunately is coming to surface, and that is that you're never going to see that border wall. Certainly not going to see it the way it was sold to you. And I said it to you 7 months, 8 months, 9 months ago. He's never going to get the funding. That was the number one thing I said. You could go back and look at the walk-in talks. He's never going to get the funding. He's never going to get it. Even with a Republican Congress, he's not going to get the funding. You think somebody like Paul Ryan is going to champion for the funding of that border wall? No. And then even if you did get the funding, you've got all the lawsuits that are going to stop you. They're going to just be one after the next. You think they stopped the ban? Wait until they stop the wall. So you're not going to get it. So that's why I have been pushing. And this is one of those times where it's not like, I don't get any award for telling you that I'm right. I hate to see you folks disappointed. Hate to see it. Hate to see any American disappointed. I'm not surprised at this at all. What I'm disappointed about, and I should say that 40% of you in the poll believe that you're not disappointed because you're eventually going to get it. I have a news flash for 40% of you. You're going to be wrong. You're never going to get it. Do you understand? You're never going to get it. And I think, you could do whatever you want. I'm always going to wish you the best in this world. Oh, by the way, I'm early, so you're not going to get the bells. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm early. Thrown off my schedule today, last second changes. But I feel terrible for you because I think you should get your mindset into it now that you're not going to get it. You're just not going to get it. And so you're going to set yourself up to fail. Now, what you do need, and what we're going to talk about today, is holding your president accountable. I know, there's some of you, I love my president. I get it all the time. I love my president. I love this, I love that. That's fantastic. I'd rather get the emails, though, that say I love my country. And I know you do. Obviously, I should just take that for being there without it even being said. But to me, it's country first. And in order to be able to protect the citizens and the workers of this country, we can't be sitting around waiting for a wall that's never going to come. There has to be pressure, and I mean extensive pressure, on the president and on Congress to do what has to be done to take measures to take the incentives away. No more BS, no more baloney, no more stump speeches that come out to be nothing more than great sound bites for CNN and Fox News and Twitters. And I just don't mean the president, I mean everybody. We have to take these measures. If we don't take these measures, I'm going to guarantee you now that you're never going to get anything and that we're going to lose the next election. Now, I'm going to make matters worse. I suggest some of you mark down this date. The apprehensions at the border have fallen sharply, and I commend the Trump administration for basically spearheading that with nothing more than Donald Trump's and Jeff Sessions' rhetoric. And I mean that for the word. You know, it's, a lot of times people say rhetoric and they mean it in a bad way. Nothing more than their rhetoric on, if you come here and you break the law, we're going to deport you. Or if you come here and you break the law, you know, you're going to the jail. So people don't come. But what will happen is after a while, it's that old game of, you know, the boy who cried wolf. And so people will start to get the word back from their relatives who are here. Listen, they're not really deporting anybody. Just don't sell crack cocaine on the corner and you'll be okay. Just don't get involved in MS-13. You'll be okay. I'm out here every single day at 7-Eleven. I'm getting jobs. Kids are going to school. Everything's fine. They can't get funding for sanctuary cities. Just come stay in New York. Come stay in LA. Come stay in Miami. Come stay here. Come stay there. Wherever it may be. Wherever it is that they're safe haven, they're going to tell them to come. Here's the difference. Don't hand yourself over to the Border Patrol like Cousin Susie did. You got to do what I did. You got to outrun the Border Patrol. It's okay. I know a guy, a smuggler. It's going to cost an extra couple thousand. It's going to cost maybe 7,000 instead of 3. Don't worry, I got the money under my pillow. I'm going to send it home for you. All right? And we'll get you here. But you're just going to have to sneak through the border a different way. That's what's going to start to happen when the word gets out that there really is no crackdown taking place. That the only people who are being deported are those with long history of criminal activity, MS-13 members. When that starts to happen, the word's going to get out and the people are going to come. And at the risk of getting that one-off comment from somebody who says, you're so full of yourself, you think you're so great, whatever, I really don't care about you anymore. I care about the people who care about hearing the truth. Fact of the matter is, I have not been wrong one time. And I'm right here again. And I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. I guarantee you that that word is going to start going out. And unfortunately, the numbers are not going to go down. They will start to creep up. It's a given. Okay. Here's the other thing you need to know. Refugees. There is a tug of war that goes back and forth between who's to blame. Is it the courts to blame, or is it President Trump to blame that we're still taking in all these refugees that were already set to come here under the Barack Hussein Obama administration? Okay. It's a tough place at this point in time to put the finger on the person who deserves the blame. Because here's the fact of the matter. Even if the ban had gone into place, and I'm not talking about the first ban, let's say the second ban, and I think the second ban gets heard, I think it's another 2 weeks from now when Jeff Sessions will start to be addressing that, or we're going back and forth. I don't know the exact dates on it. I hate spitting out things that I don't know. But it's coming. And we'll get a sense for how that's going to turn. But even if that new ban of 6 countries, which now has so many different things stripped away from it, even if that goes into place, you are still going to see a large influx of refugees coming into this country. So let me explain how this works, because it's key. And I'm so tired of watching people be misled. And, Fox News, although I don't watch it anymore, I'm looking for this kind of stuff. I look for the headline stuff. Nobody's covering this. Nobody covers this. And if you want to know why nobody covers this, because it takes time. It takes time to explain. It takes time to put together. And all I want to do is they want to just give you quick sound bites. It's all about ratings. Okay, here we go. Back in 1980, there was an agreement signed, if you will. And it said that the president basically works with the State Department to list the number of refugees that we're going to take in every single year. And now look, I'm trying to water this down, so keep that in mind, all right? So since then, the president basically sets the number, in theory, of how many refugees are coming into the country. But it's really not the president. The president isn't sitting back there and being like, well, let's see, if we take this many refugees from here and this many refugees from there, we take it from here, we take it from there, get money from here, here's a number. It doesn't work like that. The State Department is really who comes up with the number. So, at the same time, let me tell you this. Nobody at the State Department's going, well, if we do this and this and this and this, take it from here, take it from there, take it from there, maybe take a couple from up there and down here. Okay, here's the number, Mr. President. Doesn't even work like that. That's how they're going to sell it to you. It's not the way it works either. The UN, the United Nations, they're the ones who dictate. They're the ones with these camps all over the world, and they sit there and they say, okay, boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of refugees around here. Oh, we got a lot over here, we got a lot over there, we got a lot over here, we got, oh my God, do we have a lot over there. Where are we going to send these people to? Well, let's see. This country doesn't want any. All right, we could send 10 to this country. Oh, we might be able to get 5 to this one. They took 4 last year. Huh. Oh, we're not going to be able to send any to, I don't know if China's taking any. Let's just send them to America. Okay. So yeah, so the UN basically comes up with the number that you're going to take. That's how it works. And so they give that number to the State Department. State Department sits back there and goes, okay, gonna need this much money. Gonna get this many people. Let's type up this report for the president. Print. Okay. Hey, Joe, you want to bring this over to the president? Sure, I'll take it over today. What are they serving for lunch at the White House? Who cares? I had lunch there yesterday. It sucked. All right. So anyway, so the guy goes and he takes the report, gives it to the president. The president says, 65,000 this year? Sounds good to me. Okay, so where does it go from there? First of all, this happens every September. Just so this way you know. Every September. Why, DML? Why September? I'm going to tell you. It happens in September because the fiscal year starts October 1. So basically, you need funding for this stuff, right? You can't just say, hey, it sounds good to take in 65,000 refugees. You got to say, hey, we've got to be able to fund 65,000 refugees. So that's why it gets brought to Congress. Now, here's the crazy thing. Congress doesn't vote on this. Congress doesn't sit there and say, oh yeah, we're going to take in 65,000 refugees? Nay, yay. No. What they do is they discuss. Yeah, as it's written, it is basically sent to Congress for advisory purposes. Yeah. Okay. Well, nobody in Congress goes, I think this is destroying America. Can we just stop? How are we paying for all this? No, it's not the way it works. In fact, the meeting is sort of like, okay, advisory committee on the refugees. Anybody have anything to say? Going once, going twice. What's for lunch? I don't know, but we're not eating at the White House. They got stuffed over there. I don't even know what they're making. All right. That's the way it works. Yeah. So basically, nobody's stopping it. Going to need a couple of $1 billion for this stuff. Gets slipped into the budget. Basically, you're paying for it, and that's how these people come in. Damn, DML, I didn't know that. That's why you tune in every day. So, anyway, let's take a look at where we are right now with President Trump. Could President Trump stop the refugees from coming in to this country right now? That's the question on the table. Yours truly can play several roles, including the fat guy on television, but I can't play lawyer. So there's probably somewhere in there some sort of legal something or another that somebody can pull from their buttocks and say, hey, what about this? But nobody's pulled that card yet, which allows me to say to you, I don't think there's much that can be done on a legal standpoint. But when it comes to the money, then there's a different story. See, we just put together a budget. So this way, we could fund the government. And would you know it, the border wall wasn't funded. Cracking down on sanctuary cities wasn't funded. Planned Parenthood did get their money. So did the refugee program. DML, you're kidding me. Have I ever kidded you before? Yeah, you have. No, I'm not doing it today. Today I'm serious. Serious radio? No, just serious. All right. So anyway, yeah, they're getting funded. No problem. What? You need money? Refugees? Back in the truck. Doot, doot, doot. How you doing, Mr. President? Where would you like these $100 bills? Where would you like them? You know, to save some money there next time, why don't you guys just put it on a gift card? I read this whole report about gift card. The cartels are using gift cards now instead of money, wrapping up money. Yeah, anyway, okay. Yep. So anyway, yeah, that's all getting funded. So, but let's just say that the president's hands were handcuffed on this one. Okay. Come September, that's the test. Because come September, the State Department is going to come to President Trump with that report. And he's going to say, Mr. President, based on what we got from the UN, here is how many refugees we should be taking in this year. And oh, by the way, here's how much it costs. What do you think? That right there. As far as I'm concerned, if you've got questions in your noggin about President Trump, he gets smoked out in September. How he responds in September is whether or not you could recognize yeah or nah in terms of how it is that you voted in this last election. Yep, it all comes down to that. All comes down to that. Because you can play border wall games all day long if you want to. You could say, well, it's Paul Ryan's fault. Well, it's the Congress's fault. Well, I never thought he was going to have the wall. Well, Mexico's not agreeing to pay for it. You could do all that different stuff. And you know what? It's a never-ending argument that just keeps on, you're chasing your tail. Me, I knew you were getting made a promise that was never really going to deliver. But as I said many a times, to me, I read between the lines of that. To me, that was about border security. Fine, you into border security? Good. You got to stop the flow? Good. I know the wall's not going to do anything. But you know what? Or I should say, it's the 6-iron in my club. Where's the driver and the putter and the wedge? That's what I'm worried about. See, now you get it. This is what I've been bitching about every single day since January 20. Where's the driver? Where's the putter? Where's the wedge? That's what I'm asking, So, all that stuff, that comes in September. There's no running, there's no hiding. Now, let's look on the bright side. Maybe President Trump says, this refugee thing is completely out of control. It's been out of control. We don't need the number you're giving me. You've been giving me, last year was 110,000. The year before was 60,000. No more. We don't need this stuff. Bring it down to 5,000. That's it. Yeah. Now, a little birdie told me this morning. And right now, this is all speculation. I will be looking into it more myself. Big, long conversation. I was on the phone for an hour and a half. There is a woman who used to work in the State Department. I'm sorry, in Homeland Security. And she was part of this processing of refugees for nearly 25 years. And she has been trying, like the Dickens, to get people to listen to her about the fraud that takes place in the vetting of these refugees. And she was actually introduced to members of the White House. And now she's saying that after she has revealed certain things, the White House is blowing her off. Okay? Listen, I've been around long enough to know that there's two sides to every story, and it's usually the third side that's true. So I have to hear the other side, but if it does turn out that this is true, and this woman's getting blown off, it says a lot. So here's where I'm unhappy today about the whole budget thing. One of the reasons why I wanted a businessman, and I thought that President Trump would be good, is for the ability to negotiate, right? Art of the deal, best deal maker ever. I don't feel like we're getting a lot of wins, you know? There's only a certain amount. Keep in mind, today's the gloom and doom day. Although we'll come up with something positive towards the end. Keep in mind that the stock market, which is one of the things that the Trump administration has been touting about its first 100 days, is built on futures. It's not built on currents. It's built on futures. So what happens is that the stock market says, well, if we're going to strip out Obamacare and we're going to lower taxes and we're going to cut back on this crazy spending and we're going to put the ratchets down on stuff that we don't need, well, then that's going to put more money into corporations' pockets. And that means that corporations are going to spend more because they're going to build more, they're going to generate more, they're going to hire more jobs. This is going to be good for the economy, and this is why we buy stocks, and this is why it's going up. The minute that shows false, it goes like this. And then it goes the other direction. So there is an incredible amount of pressure in the next 100 days to make sure that these other things that we're talking about now, healthcare, tax reform, getting down the spendings, these are the things. This is why this 100 days, that's why I've sort of said that July 1 was the big time frame for me. You know, that's not exactly 100 days, but everybody sort of falls asleep in July. So July 1, you know, will be, 60 days from now? That will give me a sense of, okay, we're 2/3 to 100. I get a sense for where it is that we are at this point. And if we ain't where we need to be, got to start screaming. Because when the next 100 days comes, if we don't got some stuff on the board, and I don't mean a lot of these little tiny things. You know, I understand that Neil Gorsuch being on the Supreme Court is fantastic and all, and it's setting things up, hopefully, for the next 30 years. I get how important that is. But when it comes to the economy, and it comes to getting America great again, Neil Gorsuch can't be the only feather in the cap, you know? So that's why a lot of the things that we're not seeing get done needs to get done, because I'll tell you what doesn't make sense to me. We've got the Senate, we've got the House, and we've got the presidency. We don't got a whole lot today. No, we don't have a whole lot. I like what the president has done so far. I'm going to give him an A for effort. But he's got to readjust, man. This is what I've been thinking about over the last 48 hours. He's got to readjust. And I think that he's got to get rid of some of the people he's got in there next to him. Just ain't getting the job done for him the right way. He needs some new advisors, and he needs to take what has happened wrong over the course of the last couple of months, and he's got to shape it differently. He's got to shape it differently. He's got to. We got to start doing things a little bit differently. You know, like this health. The GOP apparently has enough votes to get this next repeal through. What's in it? What's in it? If it's good stuff, fantastic. Great move. You know, great move. But if it doesn't go through, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. But as far as this refugee thing comes back, make no doubt, you cut off the funding for this refugee program, there are no refugees. And so I'm a little confused on why, if we don't have enough money to get things cracking down on sanctuary cities, we have enough money to continue bringing in refugees. Where's the negotiations on that one? That's the negotiation I want to hear. We just reported yesterday, it was the #1 story on DennisMichaelLynch.com. I think it was 32, do I have it right? 32 cases of measles. Measles. We don't have measles anymore. 32 cases of measles in the Somali community in Minnesota, spreading like wildfire. I'm sorry, what's the upside on this again? Now, the amount of money that goes to these places that process these refugees is insane. The grants that are given to these people, insane. And so we're going to continue to peel back this onion. It's one of the reasons that, look, they come to America for the cost of refugees. Giving it to you straight right there. That's why we're doing it. That's why I'm going to school on this stuff. School. 2 hours almost on the phone if you really take in all my time. 2 hours this morning going to school on all this stuff. I want to be able to talk about this as intelligently as I can any other topic in the world. And it's all coming back from the UN. And it all stems down from the State Department. Now here's one other thing. We wrote a story about this. And I'm going to tell you about it again. President Trump. Can't blame this on Paul Ryan. There is an agency within the agencies that controls the migration, refugees, and population. Okay. There has to be a person appointed to that position by the president. There's nobody in that position. So all this stuff, all the stuff with the migration and everything else is still being held and controlled by people appointed by Obama. Why don't we have somebody? This is a key spot. There isn't anything being done. You know, I'm not going to pretend, for the sake of trying to maintain, you know, people listening to a Walk and Talk live. I'm not going to give you false information. I'm not going to pretend like everything's chummy and going to plan and it's all everybody else against Donald J. Trump, who can't figure out if he's a globalist or a nationalist. Come on. Well, there's some things here that we can do to really make America great again. We got to put them in place. Why do we have an Obama appointee handling this part of the State Department? It makes no sense. Zero. You get it? So anyway, now you understand how the whole refugee thing happens. Now, and this woman I was telling you about, this woman who's afraid to reveal her name, but you know, she's like, I'm getting nowhere. They won't even take my phone calls anymore. I told them about all the fraud that's going on. This is a woman who used to actually process these people. She's like, half these people who are refugees aren't even refugees. You know, it's just all fake and fraud. And look, knowing the government and seeing the way things work, I mean, look at the report I just gave you the other day on The Truth when we did The Truth, right? Here it is. You got, this is prime. I can't give you a better example than what I'm going to give you right now. Last week, I reported to you about the section of fencing that is along John Ladd's 13-mile ranch. His ranch goes for 13 miles, east to west. On the other side of his ranch is a drug cartel hub. What does that mean? It's like a positioning station, if you will. It's like a warehousing station. And the people of special interest who pay higher dollar amounts to the cartel to make sure they get through, that's where they go. Drugs, that's where they go. Now, despite the fact that we have $40 million worth of high-tech gadget this and gadget that, sorry about the noise of the truck. Despite the fact that we have $40 million worth of gadgetry, lights, you name it, the Brian Terry Border Patrol Station, fully equipped with more, I don't know, vehicles that are probably $100,000 and up that Obama ordered, sitting. We got an 18-foot fence. It showed you that the cartel continue to cut down the fence and drive right through, and they never get caught. Right there says to me fraud and corruption. But aside from that, let's just assume that there was no fraud and corruption, which is like assuming that I shaved this morning. So they're now building replacement fencing on John Ladd's ranch. Now, John Ladd goes on Fox News and does a 3-minute hit about how Nancy Pelosi, this is what Fox wanted to focus on. Fox wanted to focus on Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi said that there's no need for a wall. So the ranchers said, you're wrong. Come over and take a look at, our facility. So what Fox did was they positioned this hit to be a hit about the wall. So they spent most of their time slamming on Nancy Pelosi and then asking whether or not the numbers have decreased from the human traffic, the human traffic that's coming over now that Trump has been in office. And so if you watched that 3-minute segment, you came away thinking, absolutely ask the ranchers, we need a wall. And absolutely Nancy Pelosi doesn't know what she's talking about. And absolutely everything's going well. But that's why you can't trust any of these media places. And that's why when some of you ask me, why won't you go on those stations anymore? For that reason right there. Because it's all based on a false narrative. Even the woman I spoke to this morning, who is a refugee expert, I said to her, why aren't I ever see you on television anymore? She goes, I'm not going on there anymore. I said, you're not? She said, no. She said, Tucker asked me to come on the other day. I told him no. I said, you did you? She says, yeah. I said, okay. I said, why don't you go on anymore? She goes, because they deal with you for an hour. I just lived through this. They deal with you for an hour. They ask you all these talking points. They want to know what your answers are to certain questions. She says, and then, I'm scheduled. I go on, and this she's telling me about an experience when she did go on. She goes, I go on. They barely ask me any of the stuff that they grilled me on the day before. She goes, and they're forcing down talking points that have nothing to do with the subject that we were supposed to do. But at least they got to say that I was an expert in refugees. I said, exactly. The way they treat people is disgusting. I've seen it firsthand. I've been involved in it. I know it. So let's get back to the story of John Ladd, right? So that's what they do. And I watched this. And I'm like, wait a second. I've known John Ladd for 7 years. There's got to be more to this. So I call up John. I say, John, I saw you on Fox. Okay. I said, what the hell was with that hit? He said, what do you mean, Dennis? I said, John, since when are you going to sit there and champion for a wall as being like, the end all? And he's like, nah, it's just the way it kind of went. All right. I said, John, you're still on the sense that if we were to actually put the Border Patrol on the border, that the drugs wouldn't come in, and that if we killed the incentive for people to be able to come here illegally, they wouldn't come? He says, yeah, of course. I said, why didn't you say that? He said, they didn't give me the chance. Okay, fine. Then he goes on to tell me that they are putting up new fencing along his border. I said, oh, that's fantastic. You deserve it. Good. He says, yeah, but they're not putting the new fencing where the cartels cut through. Okay? You want to talk about corruption? You want to talk about the fact that there are shady things going on every single day? And here's a woman from Department of Homeland Security trying to tell the White House, listen to me, I want to tell you about the dirty stuff that's going on with these refugees. I have every reason to believe that this woman is not only solid, but she's telling the truth. Nobody works for 25 years in an agency, retires, and then feels compelled to let me get out of my retirement and go to the White House so I could share information that's not true. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. So, I don't know, you know. This is the information coming into me for the last 48 hours. My head's like spinning. So, anyhow. So we've got new walls going up. Oh, wait. I saw this morning. I decided not to assign it to one of my riders. I said, I just can't do it. I can't do it. And the reason why I couldn't do it is because I was just going to get sick to my stomach. Where we reported on this wall, oh, and by the way, I took this information based on me hearing from my buddy John Ladd, who, by the way, I've known him for 7 years, a rancher. I've visited him almost every year for as long as I can remember. When I'm in Arizona, supports me, comes to my speeches, gets people out, you know, anytime I ever ask for anything, totally participates. I know this guy's hurting. I'm like, you know what? This story here, what they're doing defense, needs to be told. And it needs to be told to the president. And I know that if I get on a specific show, I'm going to be seen by the president. And when the president hears this, he's going to have no other choice but to address it. I sent all this information to that network. And I was told, nah. Actually, it's not necessarily true. I was booked immediately. Because they know. And this is a little cocky. Shoot me. They know that if I go on there, it's going to be... Unplug my phones. I'm back. They know. They know that it will be rocket ship. Because people who don't watch that show will come in and watch it. On just from me putting out my thing. And I would go out to all the other immigration places and be like, guess where I'm going to be tonight? They put it on there. Rocket. Megyn Kelly learned this firsthand. And the show that I sent this to, the guy knows that that's what happens. Number two, even if it wasn't that, they know that my stuff, because of what I would be delivering there, totally is different than anything else that you see on that network, or any network for that matter, unless you're watching one of my things, would be shared unbelievably. Not to mention the fact that it would be on the cover of every outlet you could imagine. Drudge, Politico, it doesn't matter what side, it would be on there. I was told no, after further consideration. You tell me. One of the things they came back to me and said was, I'm going to start heading back to the car. One of the things they said to me was, oh, well, you know, some of the videos you're showing are outdated. And that's because what I did was I took videos from 4 years consecutive, boom, 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 and said, look, it's always been the same. Nobody's doing anything about it. This wasn't a one-off shot. This happens every single year. Cartels coming through, same place all the time. Nobody stops it. You know, how can that be? It's not one time we missed them, 2 times, 40-something times we missed it. How are we stopping this? If they're getting trucks through with the big trucks like that, you know what kind of shit that they... Oh, sorry. You know what kind of stuff? Well, I can concerned about this stuff. Do you know what kind of stuff they can actually get in through that border? If paid the right money? What are you doing? You know? Give that information out. I gave you 4 videos. They said, oh, it's you didn't take this. This is exactly what the producer said to me. Oh, we thought that you were taking these videos like last week. I said, oh, you need a more recent video than the 4 I've showed you and the pictures and what I just explained to you is taking place? Well, yeah, you know. Oh, okay, hold on one second. John, do me a favor, take your cell phone, go right down to the fence where we've been shooting every single time for 4 years, and can you make me a video and send it up to me right away? Yeah. Sends me the video. You've seen it. If you watch The Truth, at the end, maybe you didn't see it. Maybe you didn't hang on for enough. Usually when I say my goodnight, after my goodnight, we put his video at the end. Bad editing choice on our end. We should have put it sooner. Not thinking the fact that some of you would have jumped off too early. He goes with his cell phone. Hey, Dennis, John Ladd here, standing right here where you've been here every single year. Fence is looking the same. This isn't where they're going to put the new fence. See you later. Okay. I sent that video when it came in, not only to the producer, but to the host. That was now 4 days ago, 5 days ago. I was told I'll look into it. Let me rephrase. You mean you'll look past it? Yeah. You'll look past it. One day, I'm going to write a book. We started writing a book a couple months ago. I stopped. I got too busy with the place, the estate. One day when I write a book, you're going to be so disappointed in so many people. Oh. Yeah. That's if they don't shoot me before then. Anyway. DML, don't talk like that. Anyhow, that's that. So let me conclude with telling you what we're going to be doing. For those of you who are faithful and are here all the time. 2 things you need to know. Number 1. 5 months ago, 5 months, 1 week ago, actually to be totally accurate, 10 days ago, 5 months, 10 days ago, I told you I had a 3-point plan. Plan 1, build an app, raise a couple bucks, try to find a place. Cha-ching, 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 did it all. Next, hire some more people, build micro programming. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I figured I would do those 2 phases in 6 months. I am 3 weeks early. However, now it's time to take everything we've been doing and now I got to soak it in because the next 6 months are critical. I'm not sure whether or not I should go out and raise a boatload of money, or I'm not sure just to keep the course sailing the way it's sailing right now. But regardless of the fact, for the next 2 weeks, until I re-staff with new people, some of them being my family members, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be at mission control, basically my desk. Not the desk that's for pregnant ladies, my desk in my office. And I'm going to lay everything out. And I'm going to look at the numbers. What's working, what's not working, what do people like, what people don't like, what do they do, what they don't do, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. I'm going to need your participation, okay? I'm going to send out a couple of polls. You got to respond to the polls. Don't not respond. I'm going to ask you, what do you like best about the walk and talk? What did you like best about the truth? What didn't you like best about this? What don't you like best about that? Do you like a guest coming on for an hour? Do you like a guest coming on for 20 minutes? When do you tend to want to watch if you were going to watch? When would you prefer not to watch? You got to help me. Can't do it on my own. Got to help me. And I suck all this information out. Because I told you, for the last month, of those of you who didn't realize, the last month we have been doing what's called beta testing. Testing different things. Sometimes the truth would be 32 minutes. Sometimes it would be 12. Sometimes it would be 16. Then we put up a chat box. Yes, I know that the chat box takes chats from one thing and goes to another thing. We just put it up to see if people would use it. You're using it. But we're going to, these are different things that we're looking into. The truth. Well, that's one thing. We're playing at 8:30. Would you prefer to watch it at 4? Would you prefer to watch it at 7? Would you prefer to watch it 6 minutes, 60 minutes, what have you? These are questions we're going to ask. Walk and talk. Obviously, I can't do this every day, but, would you prefer it be a half hour? Would you prefer it be an hour? Would you prefer it be an hour and a half? Would you prefer that I have one guest on with me, and then you never see that guest again for a long time? Or would you rather me have some of the same guests every week to come back? Do you like it when the guest starts off the show? Or do you like it when the guest ends the show? Do you like it when Harlan and I are together for the walk and talk, or do you think that's useless? Do you think just one of us should do it? These are the questions we're going to ask you. And for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to put it all together. And then May 17 is the day right now that I've circled on my calendar, which says I'll make all my decisions. And for the whole, and then I will come back out. We'll share with you what we've decided. Ask you to give us some more input. And then basically we'll structure everything, get it all ready. And then starting June 1, which would officially be my 6 months, I will have said, I have it, it's really 6 months, 1 week, but I'm taking out Christmas week. You take out all the stuff we don't need, take all the stuff we do need, we build it, and then I got 6 months. I got 6 months to get this stuff onto your television and to build new programming and to get it ramped up big time. Yep, that's the plan. So, that said, you're not going to see any more truths. There are going to be no more truths for the next, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 weeks. Although we may test some. When Harlan comes back, we may test a few other little things just to see what you think. We watch the numbers. So what happens is we watch when you watch. We see where you tail off. We see how long it is until people start commenting. We watch everything. That's what I use those analytics. Boom, 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 boom. I was watching something last night. Not that I'm looking to be a billionaire. If I was looking to be a billionaire, I wouldn't be doing this. But last night I was watching a show called Billionaire. None of you guys watch it. You should watch it. It's pretty good. It's entertaining. And a guy said, there are people who could do the numbers, and there are people who can analyze the numbers. He says there's very few people who could do both. Those are the people who become billionaires. I thought it was pretty interesting. So I'm not worried about the billionaire part. I'm worried more about success, because so many people try to create networks and they fail. So, and I think that's because people don't know how to look at the numbers and analyze them. And so I got to do that, and I need your help. All right. So that's that. So you'll keep on getting walk and talks. Sometimes I'll be walking around. Sometimes Harlan comes back, I think tomorrow. Probably make it where he does it on Wednesday. Maybe have him do it on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm not really trying to get any guests. Hey, look who it is. What's up? What is up with you guys? Where are they? Yeah, I remember you. Fake leg. What's going on? Huh? What's going on? Wait a second. No, you guys aren't fake leg. How's everything coming out? All right? Front end, back end? Everything's going all right? All right. My friends at the duck yard here. I don't know. One leg Willie. He's around here somewhere. We saw him the other day. Last time I was here, Facebook cut me off. Deleted my video. What they don't do to me here. This is liberal lands, USA. These are all liberal ducks, make no doubt about it. Liberal ducks. Everybody's a liberal nowadays. Even Congress, Republicans, they're all liberals. Yeah, anyway. Oh, so from a dietary standpoint, yeah, I told Miss Mary, I said, okay, I'm having trouble walking, I'm having trouble sleeping, I'm having trouble fitting into my clothes. It has officially ended. She says, you've said that like 3 or 4 times already. I said, no, it ended. So I said, okay. So far today, all I had, and I never do this, all I had today so far, and I know, don't starve yourself, I'm not starving myself. I usually have like 10 cups of coffee a day, and I put that vanilla creamer in it. So figuring with the coffee thing, I'm never going to give it up. But moderation's the key, right? So 2 cups I had this morning. Very little creamer. Went with the more darker solution. And so that was that. And I'm doing all right. Not having a craving for a cup of coffee. Usually would have 10 cups by now. I mean, I suck that stuff down like it's iced tea, which is crazy. You're supposed to sip your coffee. Not me, I gulp it. So only that. For breakfast, my first breakfast, if you will, I had cantaloupe. Not a full cantaloupe, pieces of a cantaloupe. And then, before the walk and talk, Miss Mary made me a 5 egg white omelet nothing in it. Now, usually I have hot sauce when I'm doing the dieting thing because hot sauce speeds up your metabolism, or so I've been told. And I like hot and spicy. Plus, if it's hot and spicy, it forces me to drink water because it's hot. And then the water fills me up. So anyway, I'm determined. I'm telling you, these next 30 days, 31 days, I am going to do nothing but sweat, walk, and eat right. Although I will tell you this. I had a lot of fun on Saturday night. So people asking me if we can have a Saturday night wine and talk. I've thought about it. The answer is yes. Absolutely. Because by Saturday night, I'm going to be ready to dietarily just fall off a cliff. So we're going to, so you got to bring your own stuff, right? Bring your own stuff. I'll try to get Miss Mary into it. Periodically, if I'm so lucky, maybe one of my friends will come over. I don't really have a lot of friends, though. In fact, I don't have any friends. Well, I have you. Now, my friends don't live by me anymore. And everybody around here is either a duck or a Democrat. Maybe I'll have one of the ducks over. We could play Duck, Duck, Goose. Yeah, so anyway, maybe just be me, maybe Miss Mary. So you should get it now. Load up. Load up. Bring your own beer, bring your own wine, bring your own scotch, bring whatever you can have. Saturday night, God willing, we'll hang out again when the lights go down. When the lights go down in the California town, people go in for the evening. Jump in my car and I grab my guitar. I think I know. Something like that. So anyway, play a little. Oh, I can't play music. That's the bad thing. Can you believe this? Can't play music. You want to know why we can't play music? God forbid we play a song in the back, like Stairway to Heaven, and the censors on Facebook pick it up. It will shut me down for copyright. Yeah, can you believe that? I've had it happen before. Yep, copyright. So anyway, maybe I'll just sing. Or maybe I'll rip out my guitar and play the guitar. Did you know I could play the guitar? No, you didn't know that because I can't. Head fake. So, anyhow, that's what we'll do. And if you don't drink, go buy yourself some more duels and pretend. And so what we'll do is we'll just have, nothing crazy, nobody driving, half a glass of wine, maybe a full glass of wine. Maybe we'll try to give Miss Mary 2 glasses of wine, loosen her up a little, get her to talk, come out of her shell. Yep. We got, we got gifts that we haven't opened yet. I won't open them until Saturday. We'll have some fun opening gifts. Hopefully you guys didn't send me anything that's too outrageous. And then we'll do that. That will be a lot of fun. We'll talk a little bit of politics, just sort of like to open it up a little bit, and then we'll stop. And then I'll take some of your questions. So make sure we'll do something on Saturday, like Friday afternoon. I'll remind you guys to send me some questions. We'll ask questions. You can ask questions, and we'll do that. We'll probably try to cut politics out of it if we can't. Unless, of course, there's big news. All right, you know what? Miss Mary tells me that every single time I do a walk and talk, I should really interact with my audience more. That's what she says. So I listen to what Miss Mary says. So I'm going to read some of your comments here. And then if you have any questions, now's the time to post it. Make it a quick question because these things go by so quickly. But Miss Mary said, you should interact more. All right, well, yeah. I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to talk about. And you want me to read stuff at the same time? Come on. I said, okay. All right. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. So let's see what we have here. Research food, real food, says Audrey. Egg whites. Comments should be funny Saturday, especially towards the end. I agree. Next, Jim Hills. My brother continues to get banned for 24 hours at a time for copyrighted music in the background. There you go. See? Can't do it. Just going to have to sing. And that's why I sing all the words wrong to the songs, because then they can't catch me. Sing us the song, you're the guitar man. Sing us the song. See, because they're looking for piano man, but that's not what we're going to do. That's what we'll do. We'll make our own songs. You are my only source of information. Thank you for keep up good work, and please watch your back. surrounded by ducks. I think I could take them. Maybe not. I was at the D.C. protest Saturday out of social curiosity. Total joke. All right, Tom. It's interesting. You should, Saturday night, tell us about what you saw last Saturday. Carol, cut it shorter. You lose listeners when you bloviate. Carol, I need you to do me a favor. Please, for your own good. Either you need to come here at 11:30 when I start the walk and talk, or you can't comment like that. I spent almost 50 minutes explaining things that nobody else explains. Now, if you want to call me a bloviator, I need you to please leave. Okay? Please. I say it to you nicely. My suggestion is that you delete that comment, because what I do later on, and I do it every day, and I'm going to continue to do it every day, is that people who share negativity on my walk and talks are removed permanently. So if you don't mind that, leave it there, because I'll see it, and then I will just delete it. And that's it. And if you don't like those rules, if you don't like that, then don't be here. Why would you want to stay with anybody who you think bloviates? Leave politely. There are other people doing Facebook Lives right now. What time is it? 12:43? There's got to be somebody out there. I think that guy Jay Sekulow, he's got a show from 12 to 1. Go catch the end of his. Jay Sekulow. S-E-K something or another. He'll tell you something. I'm sure he's ranting and raving right now about the fact that Planned Parenthood got funded. Go ahead. Go over there. Next. Amos says, you are the best out there, DML. I pray for you and your mission daily. Well, thank you. Next. Tony Hatchcock Davis. We don't have any time for negativity. It's all up from here. Nice, Tony. If you can't be nice, my father used to say all the time, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. It's probably not what he said, but it was close. Yeah. Luis Victoria Stefan said she agrees. You should leave. Next. Christine Albertandi Napolitano. You are funny, and thanks for the laughs. Truth. Went past. Got to keep these comments shorter as I can't read them. Brennan says, love you, Dennis. Keep up the great work. Saturday night was great. Well, thank you, Brennan. Let's see who else we have. We have Ellen Faust. Mostly what Jay does is sell books and ask for donations. Well, I ask for donations too, although I haven't asked for in a while. But, you got to pay the bills. I'm not going to bang on him for that. I mean, we sell our DVDs and we ask for donations, because if we don't get them, it's hard to do. But at the same time, if that's all he does, that's not good. I don't know. I'll never watch the show. Tracy, you know how you could step up to read comments? Or, can't do it. Sorry. I don't have anything nice to say. Don't say it all. Kathy Desmond says it. Yes, thank you, Kathy. All right. Tom says, no processed food. Portion control. Remember, fat is flavor. I got you, Tom. Thank you for giving up time to giving us the truth. Karen. Just doing my job. Sandra says, yes, I don't want to read any negativity either. Sandra says that. Thank you, Sandra. Kerry says, hey, DML, another diet trick. Don't eat after 7 p.m. and thanks for the last. Ha! So last night when Mary and I it was like 12:15 at night. We just went to bed at 12:15 in the morning, actually. And we were laying down, and she's like, because we just watched Billionaire. And she's like, what time is it? I was like, it's 12:15. She's like, oh, my goodness, we have to get up I was like, yeah, like 5.5 hours. I was like, this is no good. We got to go to bed early, because when we stay up late, and we're like, hey, you want a glass of wine? Yeah, let's have a glass of wine. So we drink a glass of wine. We don't need the extra calories. We go and we rip out cheese. We get a couple little snacks. We start snacking on stuff. I said, let's just go to bed early. She's like, well, I can't go to bed too early. So I think we're going to try tonight. We're striving for 10:30. 10:30. 10:30. Wake up at 5:30. 5:45, 6 o'clock. It's a good amount of time. Yeah. Jennifer says, I'm in California. Help me. David says, and I remember every time I cook, nothing tastes like Skinny Feels. Yeah, David, you remember it. Yeah, is actually right. Nothing tastes as good as Skinny Feels. There you go. Next, Anna says, I can't sleep on an empty stomach. Sure you can. It's full stomach's what keeps you up, I think. Holly says, thanks for this long talk. Give me a long walk. No problem, Holly. One of the reasons I'm hanging on right now, I'm so hungry. I go home, I'm going to be like, man, what's for lunch? I'm going to be like, I just made you egg whites. I'm like, yeah, but I'm still hungry. I'm trying to stretch it out a little, you know? All right, what do we have next? I think the truth should be comprised of all news and not just one subject. Okay, it's the kind of stuff we need to know. I don't listen to anything else too much. Drama in a lot of them, says Sandra. Agreed. Teresa, you are the only one telling us the truth. There's other people telling you the truth. They just don't package it right. You know? I don't think Fox News is lying to you. They're just not giving you the truth like I would, I think. Like that story I just told you about the ranchers. I mean, it's nothing he said that was a lie, but it just wasn't the story. You know? All right, 2 more messages, and then I'm going to go home, and I'm going to, I don't know, suck on like ice cubes or something. All right, so let's see. We have Craig Waite says, drink water, kill hunger. I'm going to go home and I'm going to drink a lot of water. All right, and they're starting to slow down here, so it's getting a little easier. Carol Hill, I do high protein, low carbs drinks, lots of water, and I'll drop weight. Also drink black coffee. I'm going towards the black coffee, but I got to wean myself off. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Diana La Raza says, stevia. I don't know what that means, but I will look it up. Kim Beach says, so frustrated with the Congress. They are holding us back. Kim, it's not just Congress, okay? It's Congress, and it's the administration. It's all of it. It's all of it. The president's job is to figure out how to get away around these blockades. That's why, listen, you know, you can deem this as a slam. You can deem this as honesty. You could deem this however you want. I'll deem it by saying it is what it is, and it's the truth. Here we go. Planet Earth has billions and billions and billions of people. Billions. Endless. An ocean that never ends, filled with people. The United States of America has roughly 350 million people. 350 million people. I just want you to think of like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. And look at all the people in that stadium. That's a nothing. It's like 60, 70,000. You got to times that by like tens of thousands to get to 350 million. One person in all the billions of people and all the hundreds of millions of people here in this country get to be the president. One person. That person should be capable of having skills and abilities that the common folk don't have. It's not a slam on the common folk. But there's a reason why you become the President of the United States. You are supposed to be able to lead in a way that is better than everybody else. And so I don't want to hear more of Congress sucks, or I can't get it done, or this one's not nice, or this one's fake. I want to hear how it's going to get done. That's leadership. That is what makes it unique. I always come back to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was not liked at all. He was not respected. He was a B-grade actor who got lucky in California. You know, people in his own party didn't even want him to be president. And he went in there and they tried to chop him out. In fact, he even got shot. He was able to figure it out. President Trump has got to figure this out. This is why he was elected. He made promises. We need him to keep some of them. Be nice if they were all of them, but it's unrealistic. He's got to figure it out. We gave him all the tools. All the tools. He's got the Supreme Court. He's got the House. He's got the Senate. And he's got the White House. The only thing he doesn't have is the media. Okay? He's got to figure it out. Now, I just explained to you about this whole refugee thing. To me, that's the test. That's the test, is the refugee thing. All right, I'm going to say farewell. One more. We are praying the Senate and Congress, and they aren't. We are paying, and they aren't doing their jobs. If you're a Democrat, you're doing your job. You're stopping what you don't believe in. Yeah. If you're establishment and you don't believe in these things, and the people keep on electing you, and you're doing your job. President needs to work smarter. He's got to think differently. Confidence still there that he's going to get there. But he's got to think a little differently. He's got to paint. Harlan used a good analogy the other day. I'm going to end on this. It wasn't an analogy. It was the way he coined like a little phrase. We were showing a piece from They Come to America 1, where I was sitting across a very, very sharp lawyer. The guy thought he was the cat's meow. And I backed him into a corner. And he didn't know I was backing him into a corner. I was setting a trap. And the way I set the trap for him, when I asked him the next question, he was a deer in headlight. And he said, "Oh, boy, you see, he walked right into your trap." Yeah, he did. I did that also with Congressman Peter King, who's been in Congress, I think, for now 133 years. Congressman King is one of the guys who's privy to all the intelligence information. He's been in the Congress, seriously, it's probably now 25 years. And I mean, this is one of the guys who's completely in the know. He's on every last intelligence committee you can imagine. He's chaired some of them. And so I remember interviewing him, and I had in my pocket the pictures of the signs down in Texas, where they're written in English, Spanish, and Chinese, thus indicating that there are numerous Chinese coming in through the southern border, which is kind of crazy, because why would the Chinese come in that way? There's no religious affiliation for them to be in Mexico. I mean, it's a long way from China to Mexico, but you come in because you know it's porous. Some of these people from China pay up to $50,000 to get in through. All right. Anyway, so I find these signs in the desert, never been reported on before. I'm like, my goodness. Now they're there. They're put there by Homeland Security. There's 8 of them along the Texas border. I find them. I film them. Now, I have these things in my back. I have it in my back pocket. And so we're talking about the border. We're talking about safety. We're talking about, do terrorists come across the cartels? Oh, they do. And he's feeding. I'm feeding him. Feeding them the easy, boy, you're going to look really smart with this one question. Okay. And then I have him on a roll. And I ask him about, because I knew what he was going to say. I asked him if there were 3 trucks on the border. A truck filled of Chinese, a truck filled of Hezbollah, or a truck filled with cartel. What truck wouldn't he want coming in? So in other words, if there was one truck it definitely didn't want to get into America, which one would you stop? And he said the Chinese. And I said, why? He responded, because they are the greatest threat to America. Okay, I knew he was going to say that because I knew that they are the biggest threat to America. So I asked him that question. And I said, well then, why do you think President Obama and Congress are allowing Chinese to come through the border? And he says, well, that's, you and I differ. I don't think we have Chinese coming through the border. Okay. Sure about that? I don't think so. All right. Everything's all laid up now to this point. I've been agreeing with him and agreeing with him and agreeing with him. And I've already had him explain, in his words, that China is the biggest threat to America. I didn't say it. I didn't say, I think China is the biggest threat to America. Don't you agree? No. I asked him. I led him. I set him up. And at that very point, when he said, well, this is, I disagree with you, Dennis. I don't think they're coming through the border. That's when I ripped out the phone and showed him the picture of the Chinese sign. And he was like, oh. And he actually said, which government are putting this down here? I said, our government. Oh. You're in the intelligence committees. You didn't know that these things were there? No. Could it possibly be that you really don't know that Chinese are coming through the border? Okay. He had nowhere to hide. I smoked him out. Had I gone in there differently and said to him, Mr. Congressman, down the border, do you think Hezbollah is coming through? Do you think this one's coming through? Yeah. And I said to him, you know what I'm concerned about, Mr. Congressman? I'm concerned about all that stuff. But and I know the Chinese are the most dangerous thing coming through the border, right? Absolutely. I should change that. You and I know that the most dangerous thing to America are the Chinese, right? And he'd be like, oh, absolutely, Dennis, absolutely. You're spot on. And I rip out my phone. I say, yeah. Well, then, they're coming through the border. Look at this sign. What I did there is I gave him my tell. And so even though he didn't know that information, I gave him the chance to be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. They're coming through the border. I've been arguing about this now for years. Been trying to stop it for years. See how that conversation, I would bet my legs on the fact that had I ripped out that picture and let him out of the box that I could have painted him in, he would have wiggled himself out of that. He would have agreed, and he would have pretended like he knew about these things. He would have tried to sound smart, and the minute that I left, he would have picked up his phone and been like, we have signs. Did you guys know we have signs down the border? Whatever. Okay? But he didn't. I pinned him in the corner. I smoked him out. We need the president's team to be doing this with the members of Congress. That's what he needs to be doing. He needs to be not threatening them, not telling them that he's not going to... He needs to pin them in a corner. So this way, he gets what he needs. I don't think he has the people around him who know how to do that. That's my feeling. All right, that's it. Beverly says, saw that. Good move, DML. Thanks, Beverly. Now I got to go home and figure out how to paint Mary in the corner. I think I'm going to stop there. Because I'm hungry. And so I'm going to have to go with the... how do we give Mary a head fake here? Maybe what we do is I say to her, hey, why don't you, I'll do vacuuming. Why don't you, I don't know, go blow dry your hair. And when she leaves, I'll take all the food out of the refrigerator and put it in a little mini refrigerator. And when she comes back and be like, hey man, any lunch? What do we got for lunch? And she'll go into the refrigerator, and all that will be there is like something fattening. And she'll say to me, oh, I don't really have anything. All right, what about if I just make you this one last fattening thing? But it's got to be your last one. Nah, I'd be dishonest on my part. I'm only hurting myself. I think I'm just going to go back to painting her in a corner. She looks pretty in corners when she's painted in there. All right. Anyway, till tomorrow. God bless you. God bless our troops, the president, these United States, and the ducks. Somebody's got to worry about the ducks. All right. See you later. Mary is awesome, Jennifer. You're right. Where's the end button?